Concerns about a lack of research data across various departments in the government of the Virgin Islands may decline in the near future. This optimism is hinged on a 5-day workshop for public officers that focuses on developing effective policy analysis and use of evidence. Delivering remarks to declare the workshop open on Wednesday, September 30th, Governor John Duncan underscored the importance of brevity in public policy submissions. He also challenged senior managers in the public service to delegate more duties to their direct reports.
We are here to be concise in our arguments. Good policy advice is above all about structure. The cabinet papers that ministers and I consider every Wednesday would be familiar to any British public servant over the past 40 years, since they follow the same structure that we still use to advise UK ministers today. Sadly, the word processor and email have allowed people to ignore the skills of being concise. Instead of identifying the core problem, all too often they start by discussing the context. And in the worst case, we end up with a stream of consciousness. In the days of typewriters and carbon paper, some of you will remember those, people tended to be concise and accurate because a mistake meant that you were, or more likely your secretary, had to retype the whole page, if not the whole document. The most concise and informative advice on the art of delegation that I have ever seen was written by General, later Field Marshal Montgomery in 1944. And I'm happy to share it with Sandra and the Cabinet Secretary, if you'd like. I doubt we could do better today. Sadly, too often, both in the UK and the BVI, senior managers are not delegating properly, with the result that we end up having to work long hours and do too much of the work themselves. Too often, one hears the words, "If you want a job done properly, do it yourself." You hear this in the UK, you hear it here. In reality, this is a waste of senior officers' time.
Premier Dr. Orlando Smith, in his remarks, referenced the tourism sector, among other examples, where evidence-based research influences policy decisions.
The Tourist Board, which is the marketing arm of tourism, they need information in order to be able to determine how to plan the marketing strategy. We need to know, for example, how many visitors are coming each year, each month, each week. We need to know where they're coming from. We need to know, the demographics of some of these visitors. All this we need to know in order to be able to plan an effective marketing campaign. And this obtains for all other branches of the service.
Following that training workshop, the public officers are expected to make critical judgments about evidence from research and evaluation, mentor their colleagues in evidence-based policy making and in the use of research evidence, and also to procure and manage research and evaluation, including professional analytical services.